Welcome to Booze and Bourbon, a podcast where we talk about all things paranormal, and bourbon too. Now, here are your two ghostess hostesses with the mostest, Kim and Jen.
Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new year, new Booze and Bourbon. I'm Jen, and this is Kim.
So exciting that we're in 2021. Let's keep our fingers crossed. 2020 can stay in the past.
Yeah. But did you see there's a funny meme out that's like, you thought 2020 was bad, but 2021 is just the older brother that's now able to drink, so look out. I'm like, what?
That's
Great.
funny. Now that it is 2021, what are you doing to inspire yourself? And do you have any goals for 2021? What's going on?
I mean, my goal with the gym is obviously to motivate others and make sure everyone's working on their best self, starting the year off right. But for myself, I think I can't do everything that I agree to all the time. So being honest if I can't do something, or making sure that I give myself enough time for things. So not cutting myself short, which then ends up cutting other people short. So yes.
Jen, you are such a good friend, and you try to make time for all of your friends, and so good of you to be like that. But me being one of your close friends, looking from the outside in, I'm like, my God, she needs to give herself some time. She needs to treat herself as good as she treats her friends and give herself some downtime because...
Well, thanks, Kim. I mean, COVID definitely helped with some breaks, because then I did actually have breaks, but I think that I was so not used to actually having downtime that then I didn't even know what to do with myself, and then was finding things to do anyway. So
that's awesome advice, Jen. Love it.
Well, thanks. Well, what about you then?
Oh God, I'm so perfect. I don't need to change anything.
I mean, you are up there.
I'm so kidding. Holy crap. I am going to try to immerse myself in as much writing as I possibly can. I found that I am happiest when I am in creative mode. And I'm going to try to keep myself away from distractions. Yes. And I just want to learn all I can. So that comes to video editing, and that comes to writing. And I just want to really immerse myself in that kind of thing. The other thing I want to do is do some more investigating on ghosts. And another thing I want to do too is I really want to focus on finding out about really crazy biographies and some conspiracies, because I am doing this new podcast called The Girl Named Whiskey. And there's been some really crazy people, especially in the 1900s to 2000s, that have been celebrities, and I want to learn more about their lives and all that kind of stuff. And I know that you also idolize one particular person, which we are going to talk about today. And who is that?
Marilyn Monroe, who's actually on my wall right now, and I'm looking right at her as I say it. So that's
Talk to her.
Just my favorite. I just love her.
What do you love about her?
I think just in all, she was just one of those people that everyone really wanted to know more about, because she, had some skeletons in her closet, and maybe wasn't living the life that everyone would have accepted, but she, was a great actress, and she was true to herself. Didn't have a great ending, but she just lived a true her and didn't care what other people thought. So
I watched the documentary that came out on her maybe 5 or so years ago. And I hadn't followed much of her life, but I was definitely surprised at how she did have some mental illnesses, and how she was trying to cope with them with men, and trying to work with a busy schedule, and she had all these prescriptions that she was taking, and she wasn't sleeping. And so to me, you see this absolutely beautiful woman, but deep down inside, she doesn't feel beautiful because of all the things that are going on in her life. So that definitely gripped me at that point. So, since you love her and
Yes.
I'm totally fascinated by her life, I thought it was a great idea for us to do this podcast today, all about Marilyn. And, you know, we're going to talk about where her spirit likes to hang in the afterlife. And apparently in her afterlife, she still likes to be social and party. And it's pretty crazy and pretty cool. So I'm excited for this episode.
Me too.
All right. So since we're excited about the episode, we're going to start this party off with a bang.
Yeah.
So for today's episode, we're talking about Woodford Reserve, as you and I both love. But this one's a little bit different. So this one is part of the Master's Collection. It is Select American Oak. So automatically, when you smell it, you're overwhelmed by an oaky scent. And it does have a really, really dark amber, sort of reddish caramel color. And it comes in at 44.3%. So it's just above like our typical 80 proof. And this is selected by Chris Morris. And this is series number 14. So I'm just going to do a little cork pop.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty weak, but it was still there. Still there. So it smells really delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm a little disappointed that I get some ethanol.
Oh.
Yeah. But let me take a sip here. Instead of getting like that ethanol like I was smelling, I'm almost getting like a mint, like a mouthwash kind of like sensation.
Okay.
But with like spearmint or peppermint or something.
Interesting.
So that's different. Yeah.
Okay. How's
All right,
the bourbon pocket? Does it sit in there?
Mm-hmm. It's nice. It's nicely warmed. It's not burning. It's good.
Okay. All right. Just checking. Are we playing a game?
I'd love to. What game do you want to play today, Jen?
Would you rather be haunted, per se? She might not be quite the haunter, but haunted by Marilyn Monroe in your current home. She just randomly shows up when she feels like it. Mm-hmm. Or would you rather be the ghost of Marilyn Monroe who goes and visits maybe people that you wouldn't know where they lived, but she does?
Interesting.
You know, other celebrities that maybe she's interested in that we wouldn't think of.
See, that would be really cool. But I'm going to go with having Marilyn Monroe haunt me.
Yeah.
And then that way I can have all of my friends over and be like, guys, we're going to have a seance with Marilyn tonight. And I mean, I think it would be really good for the podcast too, to have a special guest.
It would.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Marilyn haunting me.
Okay, great. I think that's a great idea. I could bring every single picture I own of her and the Ouija board that's still in my shed. So we could really do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking, now that you said pictures, I was thinking maybe we could just get like a Sharpie, and instead of doing automatic writing, we could get Marilyn to do automatic signatures on all your pictures.
Oh, yes, Kim, that is brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So Jen, would you rather be a ghost who, when you speak, you only ever have the voice like Marilyn Monroe when she sings, "Happy birthday, Mr. President"?
Yes. Okay.
Or would you prefer to have an Irish accent?
Like, you had to give me the accent that I love trying to do that I never can do. So it's like, God damn it. My favorite person. Well, one of my favorite people. Oh, man. I mean, if I could combine them together, it would have been amazing to have a Irish Marilyn. But I think I'm going to go with the Irish accent. I just can't pass it up. I've wanted it so bad.
Okay, well, I will grant it to you in your afterlife. How's that sound?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so just after the break, we're going to get into some really crazy stories about Marilyn Monroe's ghost. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everybody. Being a very huge Marilyn fan, I'm just gonna start us off here with a little, Marilyn background. So Norma Jean Baker, better known as Marilyn Monroe, was a show-stopping, sultry seductress and lovable actress who stole the entire heart of Hollywood. She was originally known as Norma Jean Mortensen when she was born on June 1st, 1926, but later changed her last name to her mother's. Her mother was frequently confined in an asylum, and Norma Jean was raised by 12 successive sets of foster parents, and for a time was in an orphanage, which is a huge sin.
Yeah.
It's clear why she wanted to get out of town and make something of herself. Well, she certainly had the looks and the talent to do that. In 1942, she married a fellow co-worker in an aircraft factory, but they divorced soon after World War II. She became a popular photographer's model and in 1946 signed a short-term contract with 20th Century Fox, taking her screen name Marilyn Monroe. After a few brief appearances in movies made by the Fox and Columbia Studios, she was again unemployed, and she returned to modeling for photographers. With a multitude of failed relationships and heartache, Marilyn tried to find happiness in her life and turned to prescription drugs and the advice of doctors. Amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol ignited the slow burn of her demise. This was Marilyn's dark side that she attempted so desperately to hide. This was her dark shadow.
Yes. So according to Wikipedia's entry, on the death of Marilyn Monroe, she had grossed over $200 million from her films by the time she passed, and that she suffered from a mental illness. But who knew that she was going to pass away at such a young age? She experienced various mental health problems that included depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and chronic insomnia in her 36 years. On the night of August 4th, 1962, in her home, which was on 12305 Fifth Helena Drive in Los Angeles, California, she took way too many pills. According to the coroner, she did it on purpose. With the amount of pills in her system seemingly taken all at the same time was the cause of her death. She was found face down in her bed with only a sheet on her, clutching her telephone receiver in hand. Perhaps she was calling for help. Perhaps she was trying to say goodbye. Either way, her death shocked her worldwide network of fans. Many tears were shed. Some speculate that her death was indeed no accident, and many conspiracy theorists believe that the death of Marilyn Monroe was a murder. Some say she knew too much, and this was the price that she would pay for having a close and sexual relationship with John F. Kennedy. Only 77 days after she sung him the infamous "Happy Birthday, Mr. President," she was found dead, face down in her bed. Regardless of her death happening at her home, it seems that her ghost has been sighted at multiple locations and not just at her house. Her ghost has been dubbed one of Hollywood's hardest working ghosts. And why? Let's get into it, shall we?
Back in 2018, there was a very strange admittance by a Hollywood star herself, Haley Steinfeld. She was being interviewed on Live with Kelly and Ryan in December of that year and said that while she was recording her new album, she was recording in a studio, which used to be Marilyn's apartment. After seeing a white painted type substance appear on the glass in front of her, she asked the audio engineer to restart the track. She was exceptionally thrown off by this appearance of what she could only describe as being a ghost. After the takes were done, she couldn't stop thinking about the scenario, but also didn't want to sound like a crazy person. So she asked the engineers if they saw it too. Then they replayed the track back from the beginning, and they heard a huge exhale, EVP. Haley describes the phenomenon in this clip.
Before we get into your film,
okay,
I understand, and I have to ask this because I believe in this,
okay,
that you've seen a ghost before.
There's a yes.
Tell us everything.
Okay, right. So this is such a hard story to tell without sounding or feeling psycho. But
we're here.
I was thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So I was recording in a studio that used to be Marilyn Monroe's apartment.
I'm listening.
And okay, so I was doing this. Normally, what I'm used to in a recording studio is you can see the engineer through a glass window.
Right.
So you can see them, communicate with them, whatever. In this particular setup, you can't see them. There's a camera on me and a camera on them, so I can see them through a TV, and they're like right around the corner, but I'm in a separate room and I can't see them directly, right? So anyway, I'm recording, I've got a music stand in front of me, and I was on my phone. And the track started, and I was getting ready to sing a song, and I went to put my phone down, and this is where I started to feel psycho. So the weirdest thing happened where I literally, if I could paint the picture, it looked like if you had white paint on your hand and smeared it across like a black poster board. That's what it looked like. And I felt this like rush of air. And I just remember like dropping my phone on the music stand and being like, whoa, can you start the track over? So we went on with our business and finished recording the song. And I went into the room and I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to sound weird.
Right.
Now I'm on live television.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway,
No worries.
I went into the room and I was like, could you guys pull up that track, that one take, right? So they did. And before I start singing, all you hear is literally the track starts and you just hear. And I'm like, I swear it wasn't me. You don't exhale right before you start singing. I mean,
Perhaps Marilyn was having a gassy stomach.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe on the album you'll hear a track featuring Marilyn Monroe.
Apparently the EVP remained on the track, but it's very hard to find out just exactly what song it is that Haley is referring to. It needs to be mentioned that this was not the home in which Marilyn died.
Yeah, so the location, as mentioned before, was 12308 5th Helena Drive in Los Angeles. Reportedly, this place is still very much haunted, and this has been confirmed by the social media famous Marilyn Monroe lookalike named Jasmine Chiswell. She just happened to follow her dreams. She went to film production school, and by the age of 25 was living in Marilyn Monroe's home. Jasmine has videos on YouTube talking about the hauntings within her house and even a haunted house tour featuring a psychic medium going throughout the house. What's interesting about this is that the psychic goes in blind and doesn't know anything about the house or what happened in the home. So she talks about the energy that she feels going from room to room, starting in a guest bedroom. Jasmine said that when her brother and his girlfriend stayed with them for about a week, the metal frame of the bed mysteriously twisted and her brother's girlfriend saw the guest bedroom door open by itself around 2 a.m. one morning. The psychic medium said that in the main bathroom that Jasmine gets ready in has already been claimed by a female spirit, and that Jasmine later confirmed that in this space she heard a female whisper in her ear. Then, as they carried on to the master bedroom in the ghost tour video, Jasmine tells the psychic that she saw a figure standing between the two closet doors. And the psychic at this point tells Jasmine that she feels a very strong love affair energy happening within the home, and that a female seems attached and very attracted to Jasmine as well. Well, yeah, she looks just like Marilyn, so... If I had a doppelganger living in my death house, then I'd probably be just a tad intrigued as well. So lastly, Jasmine and her husband Maverick do say that they hear footsteps in the hallway every single night. And when she asked her husband to run down the hallway and the stairs, it sounded a lot too heavy. So then she did the same, and he told her it sounded a lot lighter, just like the way her footsteps sounded, which... probably like Marilyn. Mm-hmm. So if Marilyn was really at rest, why wouldn't she just haunt here? This is the home that she shared with her husband, Joe DiMaggio. So I just don't understand like why she wouldn't just haunt this place.
Right. I mean, she haunts hotels. I can't help but wonder if she ghost changes outfits or if she just stays in her only ghost outfit forever.
I know, because we've had this conversation before. Like, do ghosts keep the same outfit forever, or can they change outfits?
Right. It's very crucial. The first hotel we're going to talk about today is the Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood, California. The famous party hotel was built back in 1927, but to this day, the Roosevelt Hotel's name remains synonymous with film and old world Hollywood charm. It continues to cater to guests looking for upscale lodging in the Hollywood area, but there are some moments in the hotel's past that have left the building tarnished by the paranormal. You might think this sounds cliche. It also seems equally appropriate that Hollywood's most famous starlet should reside within the walls of Hollywood's best-known hotel. In life, Marilyn often frequented the Roosevelt Hotel, so much that she even had her own room reserved just for her. Since her death, many visitors staying in her old room, which was 1200, have claimed to encounter her spirit. The most common of these interactions with Marilyn are sightings of her apparition. Her ghost will typically appear to visitors in the room's mirror, where she no doubt once spent time gazing upon her own reflection. Her ghost often would shock people by appearing in a full-length mirror, but the activity ramped up so much that they moved the mirror from the suite to the hallway in an attempt to not lose more customers.
That's crazy. Do you want to go there, Jen?
I mean, yes. And stay in her room and be like, hey, it's me.
Hey, girl. Been thinking about you a lot lately.
Like, what outfit do you have on? Yeah.
Okay. So there is another famous hotel that Marilyn's ghost seems to want to party at, and that is the iconic Knickerbocker Hotel. And it's been around since the 1920s, and it began its life as an apartment building. But once it became a hotel, it got increasingly more popular with the Hollywood crowd. Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio supposedly came to the hotel's Lido Room bar for romantic dates, and then in 1954, they actually honeymooned there. It's alleged that Monroe stuck around post-mortem and haunts the ladies' room of all places. Which I kind of wonder, like, is it because she could see herself in the many mirrors? Because I think it's kind of important to note that while researching this topic, at least for me, the majority of the stories that I found out about Marilyn Monroe involve mirrors. I have to wonder if maybe she travels through them easier, or if she's just super vain in her afterlife.
I kind of hope it's both. 'Cause,
Okay.
I mean, I love the idea that she just comes back through mirrors, and I mean that she comes back at all, and that you still might want to look cute in your afterlife. Like you might be checking your hair, checking your face,
Yeah.
making sure that you're looking on point in your afterlife. So
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a certain image that you have to uphold.
True, yes. I do have a memory because the picture popped up not that long ago of a Halloween party that you hosted many years ago where I was Marilyn Monroe for your party.
Yeah, you made a great one.
So.
You made a very good Marilyn Monroe.
If I could just find that wig, we could just,
You don't know where the wig is?
I don't know where it is. I'm going to have to look.
Damn. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to today's show and this topic. It's been a very fun one. If people want to find more of us on social media or follow any of our fun adventures, where can they find us?
Well, guys, we are on Instagram, Booze and Bourbon. We are on Facebook, Booze and Bourbon, the podcast. You, of course, can listen to us on any app that provides podcast playing of sorts. And if not, we are part of the ABV network, so you can also find us there. And
I'm sorry, that was so funny. Just like the tone of your voice, it started to sound like you might be a robot. It's like the bourbon hits, and this is what we sound like.
Yeah, you just wait till the end, and then once the bourbon pocket has been warm for some time, the voice changes with it.
I love it. Guys, too, if you want to find any of our fun merchandise, you can go to our Redbubble store, which is Booze and Bourbon. And you can also find us on Eastlink TV on a pretty cool show called Haunted. We're on TV every Saturday night, and we come on at 10 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, and that's channel 10 or 610.
And it's very enjoyable, and you should probably have a drink with it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes.
How much fun would it be if we could drink and investigate at the same time?
I think it would be 1,000,000 times more entertaining for the viewers. It could be a hazard to us because, we don't move very well in the dark with flashlights, or at least I don't. I stumble a lot still. So.
Yeah, I'm sure insurance wouldn't like it if we did that either.
No, probably not.
Oh, well. All right. Well, guys, thank you again so much for listening, and we'll be back for an all-new episode next Friday. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
I feel like I should have thrown in the part of like when I was in grade 6 and I did I dressed like her and came out to A Candle in the Wind.
Oh, why don't you just talk about that right now?
Well, yes, it was very shocking to the other classmates I had in grade 6 and probably to the parents when I decided that for I don't think it was a talent show per se, it was like a class project, but I chose to be Marilyn Monroe for this project. I had a polka dot dress that my mom found. I actually did stuff it in the boob area, just so we all know. And I came out to the song Candle in the Wind, which was Elton John's song that he sang for her.
Wow.
If you remember what song I'm talking about.
Yeah, he sang it. He modified it for Princess Diana.
Right. So I came out to that, and then I did like an actual presentation on her, and that was in front of my entire grade 6 class. And yeah, my teacher was shocked. The other parents were shocked, but it went really well. So
you've always been a showtime showstopper.
You know, if I had a fan underneath, if I could just stand over a fan while I was doing it, it would have been amazing. But I think that would have took it to a different level in grade 6. So
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Booze and Bourbon is part of the ABV network. For more information or to advertise on the show, please head over to abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.